BPO3 is supported by Timber King Sawmills. For more information on my 1220 CRZ mill, or one of many Foley hydraulic options, go to timberking.com. Grace, this stick is a trip hazard. OSHA will not approve. Don't mind the extension cord going through the door. This stick, this is not acceptable. I am a big fan of quotes. I'm a big fan of inspirational sayings, stuff that you can really resonate with. And a couple of my favorites are, nothing works unless you do, right? Nothing works unless you do. That's self-explanatory. You can sit here and wish your life to be different, or wish this to happen, or wish for this improvement, or wish for winning lottery numbers. But simply put, nothing works unless you do. I really, really like that one. Something that I tell my daughter all the time, and I've told her since the very beginning, is I tell her to, instead of being upset about what we don't have, be thankful for what we do have, number one. And number two, when it comes to what you have, you can absolutely have anything you want in life. You can have anything that you want in life, so long as you earn it. You can have anything you want in life, so long as you earn it. I love those sayings. Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the mouth or punched in the face. I forget the exact wording. Meaning, you can plan all you want, but until you're right there in the moment making decisions that directly impact what's going on, you know, things will change, right? So we've had so many different plans for this space, and we keep changing them. And that's not because we're indecisive or because we think we're making bad decisions. It's we're constantly improving our thought process, improving the way we see things, and all of those changes are based upon the progress that we've already made and the experience that we've just gained. So this whole 2-acre clearing keeps changing with our major plans. Let me walk over to the lean-to side, to the sawmill area, and just start pointing and talking. So one thing that's not going to change is the house location, and that's mostly due to our electrical. Where is it at? Our electrical box right there, underground, was it pad mount transformer? I think I have a maximum distance of like 150 feet for 2 legs off of this service. So I think I'm tethered to that by 150 feet or so for the house. That's always been the plan, to put the house over there. We're still on board with that. No problems whatsoever. Jamie's small first garden right there, so proud of her for actually sticking to it with you know, bad circumstances. Essentially, she started planting in this stuff. Like there's nothing there. There's no nutrients there. She's harvested not as much as she wanted, but we've had several salads completely grown right there in the garden with our supper. She's had several flowers that she's picked and whatnot. She's done great as far as I'm concerned, as far as everything that she's been up against. That has encouraged her to want to expand to a larger garden, which I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bunch of fence posts over there, or T-posts that we stuck in the ground. And that is 30 feet by 150 feet. So that's the expansion of the garden. That's garden 2.0 over there. And that makes sense because all of the ground slopes this way. So when it comes to the ground drying up, that dries up the least. And it has full sun throughout the day. Even though that is south, it's not quite that way south, a little bit more this way is south. This is fully sun. So that's going to be a garden 2.0. But does it really make sense right now to expand in this direction with our focus and with our efforts? I don't think so. I do not think so, for a couple reasons. Number one, we have no real master plan for how this is going to be laid out. When I had the first drone footage, I drew on the screen in one of the videos and kind of made a layout. Well, everything since then has changed, because I initially wanted the garden up there, and that's over here. All kinds of stuff has changed, and we just really can't completely figure out this space. Another thing that we can't figure out is how the sawmill is going to long-term work right here. This works right here. Maybe for the next 5 years it's going to stay here. I don't know. But maybe eventually it doesn't. In the meantime, I'm gonna turn this into my log yard. I mean, I don't really have a plan to make all of this nice lush vegetation. The sawmill's right here anyway. Why not just turn this into a log yard? When we build the house and this is an eyesore, we can change that down the road. But in the meantime, the house is not in the cards anytime soon. So let's maximize this for functional use. So all of my logs, I want to start bringing over here and turning this into a log yard area. That's going to make it easier and more convenient for me to keep using and maximizing this space from a functional standpoint. So that means the garden, I don't think it's appropriate for us, we don't think it's appropriate for us to start in on expanding the garden over there. Whoops. I think it's more appropriate to expand the garden on the other side of the shop first. This side of the shop was kind of like the Mike Tyson quote where you get punched in the face and things change. We got it to this state and we're like, holy cow, I like this side of the shop now. It's a usable, functional space, and let's make the most of it, because guess what? Not only is it, you know, a clean slate, but there's the door. It is so convenient to just pop out here and do something and pop back in there, right? So we're gonna have a parking space like we've always had, and then another garden space. I think Jamie's going to settle with a bunch of different garden spaces spread throughout the property. That one over there is most likely going to be row crops, so her in the ground gardening and whatnot. But we don't have the time or finances necessary to make a good perimeter fence around that to keep animals out. So I don't want to focus on that right now. Instead, it'll be much more convenient, much easier, much more inexpensive to turn this into a raised bed garden area. My goodness. All right, so these stakes represent one raised bed, 4 feet wide, 8 feet long. A sheet of plywood, super easy to do. And we went with this size because we were on both sides of these stakes and realized from both sides you can reach the center at 2 feet, so it should be fine. And again, this is a big experiment anyway. So we'll have 4 feet walkways, 4 feet between the shop and the raised bed, 4 foot wide bed, 4 foot wide walkway, another 4 foot wide bed, another 4 foot wide walkway, and then another 4 foot wide bed. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 raised beds out here. And in between all of this area, the walking area in between, we're going to use wood chips to keep the ground cover down, but also get it to where you can walk in here all the time, regardless of rain or whatever. And when you have nothing but wood chips covering the ground, if you do have weeds coming up, it's super easy to pull them. There's nothing there really holding them down. So Jamie can keep this nice and tidy as she works in her garden space. It'll give Jamie her space, you know. I've got the sawmill area, I've got my corner of the shop. She has her garden over there. She'll probably still tinker with that, but this will be like the super convenient area. Now we just put the gutters underground through this area right here, and they pop out over here. This is also convenient to turn this into a garden area because I don't want any heavy equipment driving over these pipes. So therefore we can block this off. This will still be parking. So my plan is to cut up some beams and use beams kind of like a parking curb, right? I'll put the beams all the way through here so we can drive up, and you stop at the beams, then you can walk over the beams onto a bed of gravel into the door. So wherever the door stops on this side, I'm going to continue this line all the way out, and this side will be gravel. That means you're walking on top of gravel that is covering up these pipes. This should always, and it's all sloped away from the shop anyway, so this should always stay dry to walk on. And because it's blocked off with the beams, no one's going to drive over here and mess up the pipes. So that'll be convenient. And then we'll have a barrier of some kind for the wood chips over here. Maybe another row of beams, I'm not exactly sure. Or maybe it's just wood chips and rock and no barrier in between, just a visual line. I don't know. But This is a clean slate, and it looks to be convenient and exciting to turn it into our first finished usable space. I mean, it sounds crazy to say that we'll have a space that is finished. Nothing's really finished. It always evolves over time, but the closest thing that we've ever had to finished on this property, it seems like. This will also have a little bit of extra area over here, so maybe this area in this corner right here is a spot for some benches and a fire pit. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe if we start using this space quite a bit, then I can sink a pole over here, and pull some string lights off of the shop, and we have some nice outdoor lighting over here. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she wants to use more shade tolerant plants, and it'll provide an opportunity for me to put 4 posts in the ground and put a pergola up on top. I don't know, but this space has become exciting for us. We are both just walking around, staking this off, talking about all kinds of fun ideas, and it just became exciting really fast. If we keep our focus right here, that's also going to make me focus right here. And I've really been saying that I would need to get this stuff cleaned up and the stumps knocked back down, the stumps ground into the ground, and then master plan an orchard over here. This is 1.3 acres. There's plenty enough space to turn this into something really, really nice. Also, on the short list of things to do is a chicken tractor. We got to get some chickens. We eat a lot of eggs, and Jamie's sister has chickens, and we get free chicken eggs from her, and they are delicious. They are so good. So we want to get chickens out here, and we want to get chickens out here yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Well, this is a lot of vegetation and grass and whatnot. Of course, I need to knock it back down, but we plenty enough space to pull a chicken tractor through here every single day while we develop this space. So yeah, everything is pointing towards this side of the shop, demanding our focus right now versus that side of the shop. I'm going to turn that side of the shop essentially into a log yard, into a sawmill yard, while we figure out this space. That is that's my Mike Tyson punched in the face story for today. Things have changed, and it's all based upon the experience of getting this little corner nice and tidy. For today, I want to start milling the beams to go right here, and then if I've got time, start in on the raised beds. The raised beds are going to be super easy. You saw me make the pallets for the lumber to come off the sawmill. Essentially, I'm going to make pallets with no gap in between and 2 on either side, and then connect them on the short sides, and boom, raised bed. When I crank this up, the animals scatter, which I like. Obviously, they don't like loud noises. But it looks like this is the jungle gym at the zoo. How you doing, Mr. Ray Ray? We took your e-collar off for the first time today. Oh, okay. Okay, it's about to get serious. About to get serious. Pow, pow, pow. Pow, 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 pow. Smack, crackle, pop. All right, all of this is level-ish. It needs to be more level. So I've got to hit this with the tractor, box blade, just smooth it out the best I can real quick before we mill up the material for the planter boxes or raised beds, whatever they're called. Yesterday we went riding through the property again as a family on a side-by-side, and the spot where the 2 spots that I've used this mulcher have grown back with some grasses and just native stuff coming back through, and knocked the weeds back, the kudzu back and the vines back. So it's given some grasses some opportunity to thrive. So anyway, I really like the way that the land is coming back after using this. So the next time I put this back on the mulcher, well, Let's start from here and work our way this way. Remember, I skipped this to get into the tree area, and my thinking there was that I really wanted to get into the tree area because I got to take these trees down. Well, yes, but now this just looks bad. Looks like an eyesore. Doesn't really do anything for us. So the next time I put the mulcher on, I think I'm going to start over there and work my way this way through all of this and tidy up all this. That will give me the opportunity to knock these stumps down and grind them up. Much slower process than what I initially thought, as is the theme with everything around here. If you haven't already noticed, it's just Nolly following me around this morning. Grace is not following me around because Grace has an e-collar on her and she's in the cage and she's not happy that she can't play with Daddy this morning. She's not happy. And not like an angry happy, like Ray the cat, the black cat, when he was neutered, he was angry. Like that cat was vicious. I had to use my welding gloves to handle this cat. He was just not having it. Grace is looking at you with them sad puppy dog eyes like, I just want some lovin's, and it's just, it's a different kind of not happy, you know? And so she's in the cage. She was spayed 2 days ago. Yesterday was her first full day in the cage. She's just way too energetic and hyper, and her incision on her belly was a little bit larger than normal. They didn't tell us why, but they did say it was a little bit larger than normal. So definitely take it easy on the exercise and jumping around. Well, Grace is like, I always say Nolly is a linebacker and Grace is a wide receiver or a running back. Grace is incredibly agile, likes to jump on everything, likes to jump over everything. She is a ninja warrior. That's what it is. Oh, that's the better way to say it. Grace is a ninja warrior and Nolly's like a power lifter, I guess. He's a big boy. He doesn't like to be a lot of running around activity. Unless we're on the four-wheeler, then he'll run around. So anyway, Grace can't be out. She has to be in the cage until she gets a little bit better. I think it was 7 to 10 days with the e-collar on. Ray, after day 4 or 5, he's just like, this is life, whatever, and it didn't bother him at all. Nolly, when Nolly was neutered, he hated the cone. He would mash the cone up against everything. He started chewing the cone, all kinds of stuff. He hated the cone. So far, Grace is doing well with the cone. She's just sad that she can't be with us, and I'm kind of a little sad too. It's a little bit different without her being with me. So what am I doing today? I am going to attack these piles of logs. Today I'm going to mill lumber, and that's it. I did the 10-hour service on this engine yesterday. This is a 23 horsepower Vanguard engine. Super easy to do the 10-hour service, by the way. So we have an extended pipe off of here with an elbow and a plug on the bottom. You use a 3/8 of an inch ratchet to just take this plug out and drain your oil. Easy peasy. The oil filter is nice and accessible over there. And this is a nice little tiny engine to work on. Easy peasy. Anyway, 10-hour break-in service. I got that done at 9 hours and 31 minutes on the meter right there. I completely forgot about the wood chipper, so I kind of had like a cliffhanger ending a couple videos ago on the wood chipper. It's still in the shop. I got it back out here and chipping a little bit of stuff, and I don't know if I hit metal or something, but I noticed like it was like a light switch. It just stopped chipping efficiently, and the tractor was jumping around and it was having a hard time. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I bring it back into the shop, and I took a big gouge out of all of the blades on it. I don't know, maybe a piece of metal was in there, I don't know, but there's a huge chunk missing out of all of the blades in the same spot. So I have to rotate the blades. Well, I looked into that particular process, and the blades are held in place with bolts with nylon lock nuts. And if you're familiar with nylon lock nuts, as you engage them for the first time, you're essentially cutting threads. So it's really not recommended that you reuse those over and over again for important situations like, you know, holding on to spinning blades. So $6 online was the cost for 20, if I'm not mistaken, 20 of these lock nuts. So whenever they arrive, I'll put those back on and I'll show that, and then we'll get back to chipping, because I've chipped quite a few of these slabs off the sawmill, and I think that's definitely the way to go for what we want to do. I think I'm done with the physical stuff for today. I got 4 logs milled, and the camera here said it was 3 hours total, like on the dot, 12:10 to 3:10 of actually recording that time lapse. So I'm still trying to excuse me, I'm still trying to get faster at this whole process, and I'm learning stuff as I go. Something that I did learn is that I'm running into kind of a situation with a Tetris situation stacking this lumber. Everything I cut today starts here at this pallet. So this is the slats on the pallet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of 42 inches wide, 1 by material. And as you can see, the pallet ends right here, but I've got a few rows sticking off the pallet this way because these boards were 11 or 11 and some change wide, and well, 4 of them is 44, and I've got 42-inch pallets plus the gap, or 42-inch runners for the pallets plus the gap in between, so a little bit more than 44 inches in total length. Not the end of the world, especially not for what I'm doing, but I think it would be better to start pulling all the material off the sawmill, and rather than stacking it immediately, put them on a pair of sawhorses, and then when I'm ready to stack, or when I get a bunch of different width material, then I could play the Tetris game of trying to mix and match to make sure that we stay within the 42-inch bounds of each one of the pallets. So that's pretty cool. How many rows was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. I think 12 or 14 is as high as I want to go, so about double that. And that's pretty high. I need to reduce this down so I can actually start stacking it. But what I was getting at is, as soon as that one's done, I have a fresh pallet right below it to start stacking once again. As soon as this pallet is done, I want to switch gears and mill 2 more beams to set out in the yard and level them. That way I can take this full bunk and set it on top, have a pallet ready to go to build a second bunk and set it on top of that, and then probably cover the top of this, crown it a little bit with some of the slabs that came off the mill. Grace how's she doing? Is she doing better?
Yeah, she's fine.
She's fine. Grace is not liking the restriction of her cone. How you doing, good girl? How you doing? Yeah, we'll play fetch in a couple days. Oh yes, I love you. Love you. She's doing all right though. Yeah, I've got a pile of chaos. I need to consolidate this and get back to organized pallets. I was scattered. I went 2x4s, 2x12s, 1x's, all over the place. 8-foot lengths, 10-foot, 12-foot. I need to get each one of these bunks down to their proper dimensions, 8 feet long or lengthwise, and just build on top of that. Like I said, I'm learning a lot. And one thing that I'm really learning is, with this as humid as it is here in Mississippi, I need airflow immediately. I wiped these off the best I could, brushed them, blew them, all of that, and I'm still getting some mold. So I'm trying to take a few steps to not get as much of that. First thing that I did is I really tinkered with this valve. I've got to get one of those nice brass drip valves so you can really dial in a drip. But I messed with this. I don't even want to touch it. Messed with this a decent amount to where I'm only getting a drip and not a stream. I also increased the pine saw content in here, and I think that's doing a better job as far as being able to get the dust off, because it's less moisture, and the increase in pine saw is reducing the amount of buildup on the blade, so that's good. So I'm trying constantly different things to get all the sawdust off, and right now I'm doing one pass with the leaf blower and then brushing it with the broom, and then a quick pass again with the leaf blower on all faces. That's actually the fastest. That is faster than simply using the air compressor. I think that's the best one so far. The reduced amount of water means the reduced amount of sawdust sticking to the surface. The reduced amount of wet sawdust sticking to the surface hopefully results in a reduced amount of surface mold mildew, that green stuff. And then also airflow. The more airflow we have, the less mold and mildew and all that stuff we have. And I tested that with this pile of stickers. I put a fan on here, just one of these box fans, on top of this, blowing down on low for like a week before I even messed with these. And I've looked around through the inside of there. There's no signs of green mildew at all on any of the stickers. And the green mildew that was on the 2x4s when I made this particular pallet has been reduced. So airflow is the key, which means I'm going to try and stack in one location every time I mill. That way, when I'm done milling, I can set the fan on low and walk away. And that's what I'm going to do today.